Morning. Hi, Mel. Let me just sort some things out over here. Okay. I 100% started filming a reel and left it on. And then was like, why is it just showing me my hoop over and over, over and over? Oh. It's been a manic morning, I feel, for a Wednesday. But how is everyone? Real quick before we get started. Okay. Which I hope you're fine. I hope everyone's good. Here's my color. Yeah. Okay, so today what we're going to do is the little basket here because it doesn't interfere with anything else that we're doing or that we need to do. And it's kind of off to the side. Plus, it's something you can kind of change it a little bit depending on how you want it to be. And that's why I've got my iPad over here. I had to charge the pencil because you know what? That thing's always dead every time I go to use my iPad. Probably because I charge it to 5% and then I use it and then I leave. But anyways, so what we're going to do for this basket is going to be a weaving. And we've done weaving before. Oh, I'm just dropping things everywhere. But we did weaving here on this one. So for this one, we used two bits of 6. Do you know what I mean? So 2 stitches. So we did 6 strands twice, 2 stitches. So you can really tell there's 2 for each one. And that gives you more of a chunky look to your basket. So it's bigger. You can also do less strands if you want to, meaning you can just do 6 and just do the one pass through, if that makes any sense. Let's see if I've got another one. You can also make it an open weave basket, which is this one here. So that's so that you can see the fabric behind it. Hi, George. So that's just with 6 strands and you just follow the template. You know what I mean? So you can make it quite open or you can make it really, really closed if you want. Let me see if I have one more example because I've got in my head, I've got, here we go, the bicycle one. So this one here is just with 6 strands, but very, very closed. So you can get a lot of different looks with weaving. So there's the open, there's the stitches close together, and then there's the double. So 12 strands, right next to each other. There's the double. So you can get a lot of different looks with this. And that's why I brought my iPad because I might not even need to use it now because I have examples. But it might be something that you want to play with because the weaving part is the same for all of it. It's going to be straight stitches going up and down, and then left to right, we're going to weave in and out over your straight stitches. So depending on how far apart or close, Jessie's come to show you her bone. Depending on how far or close together you put your stitches, your straight stitches, okay? So if I just get the dark blue again, if you put them really far apart, okay? And then weave under, over. So you're going to go over, under, over. And then the next line, you're going to do the opposite. So you're going to go under first, over, under. So depending on how far apart you put these or how close together you put these, that's going to make a whole different look, okay? So if you put these really nice and close like that, it's going to look different. And then on the outside, we'll do a really simple, a stem stitch to kind of box it in. Do you know what I mean? So up here, I've just kind of experimented. So I've got two lots here, so thicker lines closer together. It just depends on what you like. So I think I'm going to go with the double look because I think that will look nice, one. And I quite like the chunky look of it. So I'm going to use this brown and cross my fingers I've got enough. I could probably just look and see if I've gotten a different one that's got full skein. We're not going to use loads and loads for this. But I don't like to run out in the middle. You can also experiment with like different colors. So like if you wanted to do, like in the example on the iPad, if you wanted to do, this one's quite close, I think. If you wanted to do, not really the same, is it? Like the up and down stitches in one color and then do the across stitches in a different color, that will give you a whole different look again. So weaving is super fun and there's a lot of different options that you can do with it. So I'm just digging into my bag of goodies to see if I can't find that same color because I quite like that color. Screw it, it's not that big of an area. I'm just gonna do it. Okay, so let's get started. Let's go. Let's do it. Got someone's eating their breakfast still. That's exciting. I ordered a coffee. Okay, so I'm going to do all 6 strands and I'm going to do 2 stitches close together. Still following the outline here. I'm going to start in the middle here and then I'm going to end on this end. End on the end. Meaning that I'm not going to actually stitch these last lines. I'm going to do just the middle ones. So let's see how it looks, and then you can decide if that's what you would like to do. Jessie's decided to eat all of her breakfast right now, so I apologize for that. So we're going to do, well, I'm going to do 2 strands. Am I back? Yep, okay, good. So for each of these lines, I'm going to do two strands and then treat them, not two strands, 2 goes of 6 strands. So 12 altogether. Get it, girl. Jessie's hungry. Do you know what? She has been so, like, I wouldn't say temperamental, but she's so picky about when she eats. Like, last night yesterday she had her breakfast at breakfast time. Then she had her dinner at dinner time. And then she got her treat ball, which we put her food in when she won't actually eat. And we filled that up. And she ate food out of that too. And I was like, what's going on with you? Why are you so hungry all of a sudden? And then, when was it? The day before, she like barely ate anything. She just like ate her treats out of her food. And then walked away like, haha, scammed ya. Good morning. Yeah, so whenever she eats, I'm always like, yeah, girl, get it. Get you some food. Now you can also alternate these. So if you wanted to do like 2 strands, 2, stitches, 2 straight stitches, and then 1 stitch, and then 2 straight stitches and 1 stitch. You can do that too. It'll give you a totally different look. Or you can do just the traditional one stitch before. So if you've missed, I showed some examples at the beginning of the video. So I showed some examples of each of the different ways that you could do it. And there's no right or wrong way with this, as always. It's really just the weaving technique. That's quite fun to do. Goodness, she's really eating it, isn't she? Sorry, guys. She's not a very quiet eater. I've got to sneeze, I think. Okay, so when you're all finished with that, then we're going to start to do our left to right or right to left stitches. Now, I always go right to left because I'm right-handed, so it's easier for me to like manipulate the threads that way. But it's up to you however you want to do it. So I'm going to start here at the bottom. I'm going to go straight down here. I'm going to follow the outline, how it kind of curves a little bit on each side here. So if you want to change the shape of this, you kind of have to do it before you get stitching, because once you have it all the lines in and everything, it's kind of like, well, you're done, aren't you? I probably could put another one in here, another stitch in here, but I'm not going to do that. So you're going to go over, then under, then over and under. In each of these here, these 2 stitches, we're going to treat as one big stitch. Okay? So we're aiming to make it go straight across like this, and we're going to go over and under and over and under. So we're not actually going through the fabric anymore until we get to the other side of the basket. Okay? Yeah, well done, Jessie. So we're going to go over, then this one's under, not through the threads, just through. Do you know what I mean? We're not piercing the threads. We're just going under them and then over them. And for this, I like to do a blunt needle. So if you've got a blunt needle, like a tapestry needle, like this, it's quite nice to use them. I think she's found a squirrel outside. So that's fun. Hopefully she won't get all barky. But yeah, if you've got one, you can use one. If not, it's okay. Just, you can use the eye of your needle as well if you want to, because that's really easy to go over and under. Yeah. So over the first one, under, then over, then under, then over and under. You should have something like that. Okay. Now, if you use more strands, meaning if you made more lines, why do I keep calling them strands? That's really confusing. If you made more lines, then you will have more over and unders than I do. Okay? So I've only done 6. You're fine. You're fine. Good job. You ate your food. Well done. Okay? And you're going to push it all the way through to the other side. And this is where you might have to shimmy it down a little bit. Okay? Now, if you want them to be curved like this, like in the actual pattern, they are curved, like the lines. What are you looking at? It's fine. Everything's fine. Then you're going to need to push it down all the way and keep pushing your threads down if you want them to kind of have that slight curve. Okay, if you want them to be straight across, then you can just fill them in straight across, and then as you move up. Gosh. Do you know what this is? Sky called us yesterday and they were like, "Hi, we would like to speak with you about your account." And we were like, "Yeah, the internet has like not been great." And they were like, "Oh, you have the fastest." Is it back? Are we good? Oh my gosh, this is going to be so annoying. It's going to be one of those days, isn't it? But yeah, so I was like, yeah, we've been having some internet issues. And they were like, "Oh yeah, there's something we can do about that. Do you want to renew your account?" And we were like, "Well, it's not to renew until like the middle of December, so we'll have a think about it." And I think they're punishing us for not doing it. There's your reminder to drink your water. Okay, so now we're going to do one right below because we have to fill in this space, yeah? And because I'm doing the two straight stitches together to make one stitch, I'm going to follow the same pattern as I did with this. So this one's going to be under. Because remember, I want the two straight stitches to be one stitch, to make it look like it's one bigger, kind of thicker basket. So every 2 stitches that you do will be the same. Okay, and then back down at the corner. Now I can probably even get one more in there, but I'm going to do that at the end. So let's just shimmy that down a little bit. Okay, so let's do the next one. So this is where you need to choose if you want to have them spaced out a little bit or if you want to have them like really close together. So I'll show the examples one more time just in case. So this is the two together. This is like the vibe I'm going for here. Okay, so they're going to be woven like that. But you can also have them spaced out, and what I mean by that is that there's literally space between. So you could have them more like this. This is also weaving. Okay? You can just see the fabric through. That's all. So, depends on what you like. As always. Okay, so let's do the next one. So the next one, it's going to be the opposite of this. Because remember, we're using the 2 together as to be like one branch or one basket weaving. So I want one to be quite close. I'm going to come up again on the line. Again, quite close. But now we're going to do the opposite. So for the first one here, we went over. So this one here, we're going to go under first and follow that pattern. And what you get is an alternating design. Okay, so we still need to go back and do one more pass. So we'll go straight up here. This blunt needle is like not happy to go through my fabric. It's like, no. So again, over, under. You're doing the same pattern for every 2, if that's how you want to do it. And I always like to say that because if you've got an idea and you want to do it different, then do it different. Like, of course you can. You can do 2 strands, 2 goes, you know, like I'm doing, and then switch it up to one for a little bit, and then do 2 again, and it will make it look like you've got like a border on the bottom and a border on the top. So have a go, you know? Get your creativity out. So now we're going to go back to the first way, which is over first. And you're just going to alternate like that for the entire basket. Make sure you shimmy them down if you want them to be not, you know, open, like not like an open open woven basket. Was that a thing? Open weave basket. And then we'll add a little outline afterwards. And then with the outline, that will help to hide any of the stitches that you've got. Like maybe you didn't put them very close together here, or maybe you didn't make a really, really nice line there. That will fix all of that. So let's just shimmy those down a little bit. Obviously with this blunt needle, I can't get as close as I really want to, but that's okay. It's just easier for me to do this on the video. You know? Do you know what I'm saying? Whenever I turn off the music, because it's like, because of the internet, it just feels so quiet, you know? It's like, oh, guys. Jessie's gone up to go back to bed. So there you go. She ate her food, she drank her water, and she said it's nap time. And then we just continue that all the way up. Which I am going to finish it because I have to show you the stem stitch. So you can't get rid of me that quick today, okay? I've just got to say, I love your nail varnish color today. Oh, thank you. Actually, I made it up. Put little sparkles on there. Felt a little exotic yesterday. Normally I'm very much like nude. I like not being nude, but like on my nails I normally do like a nude color, like a really, I don't know, quite boring. But yesterday I was feeling feisty, wasn't I? Can't beat a bit of sparkle. Yes. And I went for it. I said, you know what? I haven't used this color in a really long time. Normally in the summer, that's when I'll do like bright colors. And in the winter, I'm like dark blue, black, dark red, dark orange. Oh, I think it's going to look so nice, the basket. I can't wait to see everybody's. Honestly, I really, like, I know that we've only done like 2 days. So we've only done the mantle and the bricks. But everyone's are already looking so different just on those 2 things. Like, obviously that's most of the pattern. So like, so yeah, we've only done 2 days, but that's a lot. It's a lot to do. But at the same time, I feel like everyone's like putting their own little touches on it, you know? I just get too emotional about stitching. I get so happy, like, when everyone can do it, and, like, do you know what I mean? I just get like, oh, they did it. It's their first one. Everyone's bricks look so good, don't they? I always say it, but I always show David. I'm always like, look how good they did. It's their first hoop. And he's like, yeah, that's really great. Like, I couldn't do that. I'm always like, exactly. And actually, when I did, so I've like redone some of my patterns, yeah. So if you're in like the Pattern of the Month Club, it used to be like 80 pictures or 50 pictures of me stitching the pattern up. But now it's like a cheat sheet guide. Okay. But I made David follow the guide and stitch all the stitches to make sure that they actually make sense. And so one day he like literally just like looked at the paper and did all the stitches like based on just the description. This was like, oh my God, this was so long ago, like 3 years ago, I think. And it was so funny because he's like, it all makes sense. But then when I look at the hoop, I'm like, how did I just make that? Oh, poor connection. You're killing me. And it just made me laugh so much because he was just like in such awe that he could actually do it, you know? And I was like, did I write them okay? Like, are the directions fine? And what's going on here? Under, over. What's happening here? Yeah, there we go. I think I missed one. But yeah, he was just like so in awe of himself that like he followed the directions and that he could actually do it. And I was like, is this a diss on me? Like, did you think I didn't write the directions well enough or something? And he's like, no, I'm just so surprised that I did that. And I was like, that's why I love teaching stitching, because people, they don't believe in themselves and they don't think that they can do it. And then they do it and they're like, oh my God, you know, I did that. I made that. And it just cracked me up. Susie says, I taught craft workshops for 10 years. And my favorite part was how everyone got the same instructions and materials, but everyone's project looked different. Yes. And like, I do love doing the anchor stitchalongs, but when everyone has the same colors, I feel like I'm just like dying for someone to like make it a different color. Do you know what I mean? But I think that's more like the art teacher in me. I love it when people have different ideas, or maybe I throw out an idea and people are like, oh my God, I'm going to do that. And it just makes me so happy. Yeah, guys, I just really like stitching. I really like teaching. It's like my favorite. I think I'm going to go through like withdrawals. You know what I mean? Like, I think I keep saying I'm going to take time off and like not do stuff. And like put my phone away and stuff. But I honestly think I'm gonna like, I'm talking about in January when the baby comes. I think I'm genuinely gonna be like, I miss you guys too much. I can't stay away. Okay, so this right here, because the edges go up a little bit on the side, you can either add a couple more stitches. So like do just one over or one under to fill up the space. Excuse me. Or you can push them all down a wee bit to make it have a little bit of a curve. Susie also says, and their color palettes almost always match their clothing choices. Yes, definitely. And I think sometimes that's why stitching is so fun, is because I might not pick the same colors for myself, but it's so interesting to see someone do like a super bright, like neon colored tree, or, you know, whatever it is. Or you can play around with that too, because maybe you would never pick that for yourself, but actually, you know, because this one's like home decor, so it's a little bit easier to like go crazy, because I don't really like saying the word crazy. That's a little bit not nice, but you know, go wild with your colors, because you don't have to stare at it in your house, you know, like if you got like rainbow colored drapes or curtains, maybe in your own house you would never do that, but in this one you can like just go wild and be like, yes, I'm gonna do it. Okay, and it looks like I need another one here at the bottom, so let's just go down there. I'm gonna have to do my sharp needle though, because I need to go in at an angle, because I can see that there's a little bit of space and I want to fill that space up. So even if it's just with like one little stitch there, I'm gonna do that. Oh, I've just done that. I've just taken it off. Don't worry. Now, if you get all these little fuzzy guys at the end and you can't do your needle, then just snip them off, and it can make it so much easier to do that. It's my dream to have a red brick fireplace. This might be the only way I get one. Oh, I hope you really do get one in real life. I want like a real like wood burning fireplace. Right now we have like an electric one that looks, I'll show it. I think I showed it last year. But we've got just like a little electric one there because David really wanted one, so I bought it for him for Christmas for last year. Another top tip is if there's no space to weave, then just go up in the next one. Okay, like this. So go up at an angle, and then you can just pretend that that's woven underneath of there. Pretend. So I've just got the one. I think just one will fit, and that's totally fine. I just want to fill up that little space at the bottom. Maybe two will fit. There's just not very much thread left, is there? Can't believe I used that one piece for all of this, and I thought there was going to be so much. Like, if I was going to use so much. Okay. Now let's do the stem stitch outline. And we'll show you how to do the stem stitch too. It's just me here. I don't know what I'm on about. So the back will look like this. Yeah. Nothing on the back. Unless you wanted to start your stitches in a particular way. Sometimes I'll start all my stitches like from the right instead of going back and forth, just because it's easier and quicker for me. And if I know I have enough thread, then why not, really? Okay, let's see about 3 strands. I just want to do a wee outline, so I don't really want it to be like, boom, it is outlined. Do you know what I mean? So if you used all 6 to do a stem stitch, it would be quite chunky. All right. So I'm going to do 3, maybe 4. And let's see how that looks. And the way that I check, which it comes with time, knowing how big your space is with the stem stitch, it gets kind of doubled up. So if you just want a small outline, I feel like I need to burp. Ooh. If you just want a small outline, just to cover up some things, it's always better to go a little bit smaller than you think first. And then we're going to do probably a stem stitch handle as well. But you can always do that on top of your, what's it called? Logs. Or if you don't want to make them logs, if you feel like there's too much brown, then you can always make them blankets when we do the log day. Okay. I've got my 3 strands. So let's learn the stem stitch. This is a stitch we haven't done yet in this stitch along. Obviously, we do it in almost every stitch along because it's so simple for outlining. And it's very similar to a whipped back stitch. It looks almost the same, but it's going to give you... Okay, back. It's going to give you a bit of a different look. I'm like hating life over here with this thing. I'm telling you. Sky, I think they're punishing me. Okay, so we're going to start at this corner here. All right. And we're going to come up here right at the corner. Now, the smaller that you make these stitches, the more twisty that they're going to look. And the bigger you make them, the more of just like an outline it's going to look like. If you've got a really tight corner, then you have to make them small. So you don't have any choice at all. You have to. We don't really have a tight corner. We can go straight here and end it at the corner if you don't want to make it like a round basket at the bottom. So that's kind of another choice that you can make if you want to. So I'm going to make mine about that big. Okay, so this is just a regular stem stitch. Now, with the stem stitch, normally you start your first one in the middle of this one. So let's get out this one again. So you make each of your stitches about the same length, except you offset them like bricks on the same line. So from here, we've got 1 stitch from here to here. So your next stitch will be in the middle of these 2 here. And we want it to be the same length, remember? So you're just going to go like a little bit farther, like a little half stitch, okay? So what you're doing is you're overlapping these stitches all on the same line. Now, for me, especially when I'm doing a basket like this, where I want the line to be the same thickness all the way around, if we start in the middle for the first one, this first half stitch is only going to be half a stitch, which means it's not going to be doubled up, which means it's going to be thinner at the top. So what I like to do, I hope this is not confusing, is start the first one really close, the first stem stitch part, not the first stitch, really close, and then just go up a half. And now we can start our regular stem stitch. So we're going to go up the same hole, okay, inside the loop, and pull that. Now this is also called an outline stitch. Again, just a little half stitch farther up, further up. Okay, and the difference of the outline stitch and the stem stitch for me is nothing. Some people swear by it, but actually it looks the same way. So normally you've got your line like this, and a stem stitch will go on the top. So all your loops will go on the top like this, okay? And an outline stitch, they'll go on the bottom. Now, for me, all of the stitches lay nicer when you stitch your stem stitch on the hump. So if you remember, this here has a slight curve to it. So we're always going to put our loop on the hump. However your curve goes, that's where your stem stitch is going to go. So for here, since it's slightly curved that way, all of our loops are going to be up here. For here, it's slightly curved this way. Yeah. So all of our loops are going to be on this side. And then for this one, slightly curved down. So all of our loops are going to be down. So that's kind of how I've always done it. Some people are very like sticklers for, nope, you're doing this stitch, or nope, you're doing that stitch. Technically, you know, I suppose they're right. But at the same time, if you flip that line the other way, you know what I mean? If you flip your hoop around, you've just swapped them. So if you've got your two lines, one is a stem stitch, one is an outline stitch. If you flip them around, you've just changed them. So really, they're the same. And actually someone was saying the same thing about long and short, split stitch. And I was like, it's the same thing. So I've gone down here because I want to have a little point, like a little corner like that. So when we do the next line, we obviously can't come up here at the start because we've just done that. We've just gone down right there. So if we came up right there, we're going to undo our stitch. So we're going to go a little bit further like this and do the exact same thing that we did at the beginning. Make our loop. Come on. There's a knot there, isn't there? And then carry on. And I want this to be quite close to our stitches because I don't really want any fabric to be showing underneath. Like I don't want it to look like there's a gap. You know, like my basket is here and then my outline is down here. So don't be afraid to get it quite close to there. And then I think that's the last one for this. And then for the handle, I'm going to do the stem stitch again. But I'm just going to do a couple different passes, and that's going to make it look like a twisty rope. So we're going to start here at the top and do maybe like 3 lines of stem stitch all together, really close. And that will give it such a nice look, like a little twisty handle. Obviously, you can play with any of the stitches that you've learned, like either so far. We've only learned 4 now. But you can play with all of the other stitches that we've learned, like if you wanted to do a satin stitch handle or a split stitch handle, or if you wanted to do something different, like just a stitch that you know, you can do that. Or do the same as me. This is slightly, there we go. Couldn't see so well. So we're doing that little half stitch to finish. And then it looks like there's a little stitch here on each side. Okay, now let's go up here at the top. Like I said, I'm gonna do a stem stitch. You can save this if you want to. Meaning like you don't have to do it right now. You can do it after we do the logs on a different day if you feel like you don't really want to do this part right now. You can use more strands if you feel like it. Remember, we're stitching on the hump, so obviously it goes that way. It curves that way, so all of our loops are going to be on the top of that. It's such a great stitch for outlining though, because you get a really nice fluid look without just detracting or distracting, I should say, from the rest of the stitches. So you can do it like for a satin stitch, pretty much any stitch if you really want to have just a nice little outline on it. Now, lighter colors, you'll be able to see every single stitch. Darker colors, they'll all kind of blend together. Let's do the little corner here. I'm almost done, guys, I promise. And then we'll go back. We can do one around the lip as well, where the logs are, if you feel like you would like to do that. I'm talking about here. If you want to give it a little outline for the lip there, you can do that. Ooh, all of the kit samples that you guys saw yesterday, they're all going to be listed today for stock reasons. They'll be individual, or you can buy all 5. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, in yesterday's video, I showed a little sneak peek of the mini kits that I'm going to do for the winter. They'll probably be the very last kit that I do before like April. So if you're looking to get something, then now's your time. And they're with the wire shapes. So you can get one, like any of them on their own, or you can buy a kit with all 5 for a discount. So I couldn't do like 2 kits because I can't keep stock of that, if you know what I mean. Like I have to order the threads and stuff in advance, so I can't foresee like how many of each to get, if you know what I mean. And then also have time to ship them. So that's what makes the most sense, is you'll get a discount if you buy all of them. It's basically, the discount is basically you pay for 4. Can you get just the wire part of the kit? So she's trying to figure out if that would be doable for her. But I'll have to see. They obviously... Are we back? Okay. So obviously, as far as like a deal for you, she's selling them to me. Oh my gosh. She's selling them to me for a deal. So it's like I have to talk fast now. Yeah, so for you guys, they would be like a full price situation. So it would probably be better to get the kit and get them all at the same time, if you know what I mean. Because I'm getting a good discount of buying a bunch at once. But if you want to get just the wire pieces, she's trying to price that out right now and see how much she could sell them for. And it might be individual. It might be like you have to buy all 5. I don't know. So she's going to get back to me after this stitch along and have a little look. But there we go. So let's zoom out and see what we made. It's my favorite part. I almost feel like right here there needs to be some, because even though it's like offset and this kind of goes down behind the log, I feel like it needs to be a little bit right there, but we'll see. So there we go. How lovely is that? It looks so nice. It totally needs that little stitch, so I'm going to add that. And I'm talking about right here. Do you know what I mean? It just needs to be filled in right there, I feel like. So if you weren't here yesterday, these are the mini kits I was talking about. They look like this. And they've got the wire pieces. Let me just zoom in here. They've got the wire pieces on top. So you can get the threads and the hoop and the fabric. So I always do 2 pieces of fabric. So instead of getting 5 pieces of fabric, you'd get 10. And then you'd get all of the threads for all of them, like a full skein of each. And then you would get all 5 of the different things. You'd get the pen to trace on, and then you'd get all 5 hoops. What else? What else do we get? Oh, and you get a project bag. You get a project bag with the big kit. So we can do the new project bags with this one. The brand new ones, maybe. You can put all your things inside of there. So that could be fun. So you get all of that with the big kit. So yeah, there you go. So that's what they are. If you're wondering, what is she talking about? But all right. So we finished the basket today. Again, don't stress out about the bricks. We're still going to be working on them. This is going a bit yellow for me in this light, I feel. But it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Definitely the bundle for me. No way I could choose. Oh, they're so cute. I'm not gonna lie. I really, really love them. Yeah. And the lady that I'm working with, she's so lovely. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited. So don't stress out if you're not done with the bricks yet. We're not going to work on anything to do with the bricks until next week or even the week after. Okay. So there's nothing that's like on top of them, like the wreath or the banner, that you need to have them done. So just do a couple at a time. Please don't stress out. Make sure you're tagging me at the Barmy Fox so I can have a little look and share what you've done, because it's like my favorite part. And yeah, I can't wait to see, that's my brick. I can't wait to see what you guys did with the basket. If you did it like me or if you went your own way. Oh, I'm so excited. So yeah, the ornament should be up later today. Cross my fingers. And yeah, have a lovely, lovely Wednesday. And I'll see you tomorrow. All right?